Hello, my name's Devin. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about whatever I want. Recently, seems like I'll have gained a viewership around analog productivity in this digital world that we live in. And so today, I want to dive back into the Everbook and look at a bundle that when I use it correctly, it makes for a great week. And if I forget to use it or just don't get around to it, it makes my week really hard. And so without further ado, I want to show you how I use my agendas, my calendar and agendas bundle. Alright, here is my Everbook, and we are going to open this up and look at calendars and agendas. Now, this bundle is currently empty because I'm going to walk you through how I fill it up and why I do it the way I do it. There are three types of agendas. There's two types of agendas and one calendar thing that I do. But first, what is the calendar and agendas for from a getting things done standpoint? It's very simple. A calendar in a getting things done system, it is a place to keep tasks that you cannot do until a certain date. Here's an example. Trash day is on Thursday at my house. Trash day is Friday, so I don't collect the trash until Thursday. If I were to collect the trash and put it at the curb in my next actions, I would be telling myself, I'm allowed to do this anytime. I could do this right now if I wanted to. But I can't. I have to wait on that one. It does me no good on a Monday to open up my next actions and see something that I can't do until Thursday. So, what's the solution? The solution is to park that somewhere that you can do it in the future. Maybe a better example would be paying a bill. Like I'm thinking, I need to remember to pay my credit card bill, but I know I don't see the statement for it until the third of the next month. So how is that going to work? Here we go. We're going to create a calendar page. So inside of calendars and agendas, let's start with the calendar. The way that I've been doing this, it's so simple. All I do is I take a blank sheet of paper. Currently it's February, so let's do this. I'm going to first put my little symbol so I can at a glance say, yeah, this sheet of paper belongs in this bundle. Just because I know the symbols match up, I don't need to think about it if I've got this paper out on my desk. This is going to be my calendar for March 2026. And I say, all right, I know every month my credit card statement comes out on the 3rd, and I like to just hop on and review it and pay it on the 4th. So what am I going to do? So simple. I'm going to write 4. Just remember, that's the day. And I might use a task here, little task bullet from the bullet journal system, and I'm going to say pay, or maybe review and pay credit card. There we go. So simple. And now I know in March, I can grab this out and I go, all right, what's coming up? The 4th. All right, on the 4th, I need to remember, I need to pay my credit card statement. And so I will make one of these for all of the upcoming months. Usually, I try to keep it for the next 12 months, maybe 18 months. This is very similar to the future log in a bullet journal system, but I'm more directly following the calendar paradigm from the getting things done system. So there we go. When I say calendar, that's what's going on. You might also put events on here. So if there's a birthday, you might say, hey, on the 17th, it is Patrick's birthday. It's whatever you need it to be, but the core one is tasks. Tasks that you cannot complete until a future date. Okay, so that's first that goes in there. The second thing that goes in here, it's actually the first type of agenda. So we did just a calendar, now we're going to look at the first type of agenda. And this is an agenda for a scheduled meeting that's coming up, or a scheduled event. So again, let's go ahead and write this out. I do my symbol, so I know this is goes in my calendar and agendas bundle. And I write the title of the meeting. So let's just say sales training seminar. And let's say I'm attending it. I'm going to be an attendee at this, and this is my agenda sheet for that upcoming scheduled event. And I'll write the date. So let's just say 02/20/2026. So there we go. I've got my little symbol, the title of the upcoming appointment or event, and there. Now, what do you do? What do you do with this? You do two things. One, when I make it, you're going to do three things. When I make this, I'm going to do a brain dump. I'm going to write, like, teacher's name, so I don't forget. I might write why I'm attending. I might record question 1. Some questions I want to ask. If there's a Q&A, I go, hey, I respect the person who's teaching this. I follow their stuff on LinkedIn, and there's a couple of questions that I'm going to bring with me. Well, this sheet of paper, here we are. Today is the 13th when I'm recording this. This happens on the 20th. I'm writing these questions down. Great. This is going to become my memory source for me. I've got that filled out, and I park it in here. Now, the next thing that's useful for is I'm going about my day. I love to use an example. I'm washing the dishes at the end of the night, and it comes to mind, hey, here's a third question you could ask at that training seminar. I go, that's great. What do? Well, I just make sure that I come back to this piece of paper and I write question 3. And then the next day, I'm between projects in my workday, and I go, oh, yeah, there's another great question you could ask. Question 4. And then I'm cruising Twitter, and I go, oh, snap, the instructor was just tangled up in a big hullabaloo, controversy, whatever. I might come in and just, like, make a note, hey, controversy stuff. Just so that when I arrive at the seminar and I pull this out, boom. All right. The third thing that piece of paper is for is when I arrive at the seminar, this is where I take my notes. You could, if you want to, maybe draw a line just to demark, here's all the data I recorded before, and now here's the notes I'm taking during. But right, I'm going to take notes, just draw. Oftentimes, if while we're talking, it comes to mind, hey, you should do something with that, I'll make a task right here. And then if at the very end, if there's like specific follow-up items, I might come over to the side here and write a series of follow-up tasks. And then those are going to go into my GTD system. And again, using the Everbook is so great because if I fill up this page with notes and then I fill up this page with notes, what am I going to do? I'm just going to grab a fresh sheet of paper. And so this was page 1, this was page 2, and then I'm going to write page 3 and page 4 ad infinitum. Just as many pages of notes as I need. And then when I'm done, I'm going to toss this thing. I'm going to come home, I'm going to toss it in my physical in basket. And then in the future, like the next day maybe, or on a Friday when I do my weekly GTD review, I'm going to come back, pull this open, and be like, look over the notes, look over the tasks, look over things that were done, not done, and I'm going to put anything that needs to happen after that goes into my GTD system, which is next actions and projects, I keep it in my Everbook. And finally, when this is all done, when I've completed the seminar, I've filtered through the follow-up steps, what am I going to do? This is multiple pages, so I will like to staple it. Staple those together. That is a terrible place for a staple. Look at that. That's really bad. I should pay more attention. But regardless, I staple it. And then on my desk at home, I have a thing called Agendas Archive. These are all my agendas from 2026 so far. And I'm just going to put this in here wherever it belongs. And I keep it chronological order. So the key with that is I do my best to sit down every Friday and I look at the upcoming week and I make a piece of paper for everything that's on my calendar where I'm gonna have a meeting. Typically don't do it just for like tasks and projects. That has its own paradigm. But whenever I'm gonna sit down and have a conversation, I've got notes, I've got an agenda, I've got a series of questions, everything I've been thinking about in advance, and then I just take notes right there, and then I follow through right away using GTD as my paradigm. So ideally, when I open this up, I've got a nice stack of agendas for all my upcoming meetings. Okay, there's one more type of agenda that goes in here, and it is a person-based agenda. So let's say I don't have any meetings per se scheduled with my boss, but I'm going about my day and something comes to mind that, I need to talk to Steven about that. So what do? I write my little symbol at the top. Bump my camera. Write my little symbol. Doot, doot, doot. So I remember this is an agenda. And then I write the name, Steven. And I just know that I don't need to put a date because I know this is just a catch-all space for stuff. And so I think of, hey, we need to talk about, I got this question, number 1. And then later in the day, think of, I need to ask him about this other project. 2. Then I need to ask him about this thing. Just as you're going about your life, things come to mind that you need to ask Steven. You've got this sheet of paper that catches all of it. Now, in some cases, maybe I work in an office with Steven and I just see him often enough. Hey, I'm going to ask him these questions. We'll just be around each other and I'll just pull this out when I see him. Super simple. However, oftentimes with remote work especially, you don't see each other unless you put something on the calendar. And so for me personally, some of these might be low priority questions, but there comes a point where maybe something high priority gets added to this list, or just the quantity of questions is adding up. I say, I really want to get these answered. And so what do? I schedule a meeting with Steven. And when I schedule that meeting, I put that date on here, and now it's not just a person based, but now it's actually tied to an appointment that I have scheduled, and I have all the questions and other stuff that I want to talk about. I'll also take notes on here, and it will likewise go into the archive when I'm done. Now, how do I organize these? I organize these a bit by priority and a bit by chronology. So first, the very first agendas are all my named ones. So I have one of these for key clients that I work with. I have one for my wife that there's always stuff going on there. People maybe at church or friends or just whatever. Any person that I'm like, it's for them. Talk about it with them sometime. Next, I have my meetings, and these are in chronological order. So in theory, as I'm going through my workday, so if I have back-to-back meetings, that's really good that I've already got all these agendas made up. And it's so simple. I'm gonna, as my day progresses, I just open this bundle and I grab the next piece of paper. I go, all right, next piece of paper. All right, that meeting's done, and I'm hopping on to the next one. Toss that one aside, and then boom, the next piece of paper is the agenda for the next meeting. And so this is how I can have a day of like 4 to 6 back-to-back intense meetings. And it's really not a big deal because I've done all my thinking ahead of time. I know what I need to accomplish. I've got a place to take notes, and I have a great follow-up system using it, taking this and then filtering it through the getting things done system. So none of the follow-up tasks or information gets dropped, and I don't lose the data because I archive everything when it's done. So I've just got this. It really works for me, and I think it would work for a lot of people. Okay, and then finally, after that, the lowest priority is the future dated stuff. So the very back here is going to be all of my future months and maybe a year. So one thing I've done, I don't do this anymore, but you might try it, is just have the months for the current year or the next 18 months or something, and then just have one sheet of paper that captures everything further out than that. You can experiment with what's most convenient for you. Also might depend on just the volume of tasks you're going to have. I have a lot of tasks. You might not have a lot of tasks, and so you can use fewer sheets of paper. There you go. Agendas and archive. So I hope that's useful. Like I said at the beginning of this video, when I am intentional to make a sheet of paper for every upcoming meeting, to keep up to date on my agendas for people, to keep those future months filled out and reviewing them, man, life feels like it moves so smoothly. If I neglect this bundle, life lands on top of me, and it's really not fun. So, if you're doing that, would recommend. Hope something in there was useful. Thanks for watching.